Welcome to our City Current radio show. I'm Andrew Bartolotta, Director of Digital Media here at City Current, and today's guest is Crosspoint Church Pastor Doug Bell, CEO with Destiny Center, a mobile community center that brings resources and people together. Thank you for joining us today, Pastor Doug. I'm so excited for our audience to learn more about you, Destiny Center, and your mission to be the church in our daily lives through acts of generosity.
Andrew, thank you for having me on with you guys. What an opportunity to get the message out. Not just an opportunity for people to know more about what we do, but actually become a part of what we do. So what you're doing is very valuable to our community, and we as the community appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, throughout this pandemic, I've seen firsthand the impact that you are making with food distributions and go out weekends with your congregation and daily pray first messages of positivity and gratitude. You're such a joy to follow online and inspire others to power the good. Now, recently on Facebook, you posted the one-sided way to break the cycle of good intentions, be generous. Give to what you're grateful for and give to what breaks your heart. The sweet spot is where these two meet. Generous people direct their hearts with their treasure because they know treasure never follows their hearts. Now, before we dive into Destiny Center and as we navigate through this season of giving, can you dive a little deeper into this post and what lessons we can learn from it?
What we saw was a great loneliness and separation and isolation happening during the initial COVID pandemic and the quarantine. We as a church, are very used to meeting every single week and providing for people's needs, in an encouraging way. So when we were separated, we decided to close our church a week or two before the mandates, and churches were never, officially governmentally mandated, but we were highly encouraged not to meet, and we didn't want anyone to get sick for coming to church. We don't want to hurt people. We want to help people. But it wasn't going to be enough for us to close our doors. We don't believe our church is inside of our doors anyway. So it was really easy. It was authentic for us to continue being a church outside of our building. So yeah, we set up food trucks for the community to come through, not just our church. Of course, our church was invited, but we felt like it would be helpful for our people to see each other, to see their pastors, to see their staff, also to see the community, to see that the church was not closed, that while, pandemics can close a building, pandemic cannot close a church. So we literally spent a lot of resources, man hours and money, with taco trucks, waffles and ice cream, things that you don't normally hear as the title of the weekend message became our weekend message. And what we found is not only did it help us to connect with our church family, it helped us connect with the community in ways that you can't by just meeting indoors. The definition of an unchurched person is that they don't come inside. They don't come in church. So for us to be out there and doing those things, Andrew, I always wanted to close the church once or twice a year to give our church family and all of our dream team members and volunteers a rest. I mean, some people are working every single Sunday in different areas of the church. And I thought, I don't know if we can do this. I don't know if we can financially do this. I don't know if we can do this. And our volunteers, I just didn't know. Well, the COVID experience taught us that we can close the doors. We saw our attendance increase online, our giving increase online, our participation increase as we distributed food all over the community, food boxes. The Church United was born, hashtag Church United. You can find that. But it really expanded our church. It gave us more opportunities through those trucks. I mean, just feeding ice cream, feeding tacos, and things like that just connected people with us. And it's been one of the great, how can I say this? One of the great catalysts to the future of our church, in that we now close the first Sunday of every month, regardless of what's going on in our community. We close our building and we do community serve projects. And that has just been overwhelming. We've done some incredible things. But again, I could go on and on, Andrew, about the opportunities and the catalyst it's been, but it's really been a growing experience, not just, I think, for our church, but the church in the world.
And that's what I just love about your mission and the way that you inspire others to live their lives to really be the church in your everyday life, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Now, talking about being the church and doing good and acts of good works. So, what led to the creation of Destiny Center, and why is it needed in our community?
Destiny Center is going to go back a little further. I mean, I was raised by my grandmother, if you ever hear me talk about my mama, I'm referring to my grandmother. She raised me from the time I was 3 months old. My grandmother and I were the only, it was just two of us in the home most of the time, and she couldn't drive. So we lived in Holly Springs, a town in North Mississippi, small town just south of Memphis, south, I guess that's east. And we walked everywhere we went. We walked to Big Star, that was our grocery store. We walked to Fred's, that was our Walmart Supercenter mall, eye care, healthcare facility. We walked to Tyson's Drug on the square. We walked to the library, anywhere people were offering services. Because again, this is my grandmother. We were financially, I guess some people would call it impoverished. I didn't know we were, but we were. And it made it very difficult to walk to the doctor. It made it very difficult to walk to the grocery store if it was raining, if it was cold. If someone did not provide a way for us, we had to walk. So I thought as a little boy walking beside her that one day I'm going to help you, Mama. I'm going to help you get to the doctor. I'm going to help you get to the store. I'm going to help you do these things. So really, I saw all these services. The church had services, the government had services, medical facilities and clinics had these services, the library had services. There were fantastic services everywhere. But if a person, number one, don't know the service exists, and number two, doesn't have the transportation to get there, it doesn't exist to those people. Those people are still food insecure. Those people are still healthcare insecure. Those people are still educationally insecure. And so, honestly, one night a guy from not California, a guy from Carolina writes me at like 2:30 a.m. and says, I see you doing something like a dream center. He said, I can't get this out of my mind. You're going to do something like a dream center. And he wrote out this long email. And I had thought about doing that before. I mean, I'm in the church world. I know all about the dream centers. And God developed it and said, no, you're not going to ask people to come to you. That's Walmart. You're going to take these services to the people more like an Amazon. And I thought, okay, so working hand in hand with my pastor friends and my community leaders at Life Fellowship and Dream Center, I knew that, that category is taken care of. Now we need to provide a way to take these services to people, provide transportation. So here's kind of the platform of Destiny. We're about bringing education, healthcare, social services, and food services into people's community, to their door. So it developed out of, a little boy and his mama, but it is still a recognized need by myself and others around me and our board of directors that there can be all the services in the world, but if people don't know they're there, if they don't know they exist, or if they don't have a way to get to them, then those services do not exist for these people. So we want to make this community center mobile, take the food to the people. We do summer programs where we go through the DeSoto County schools. We put flyers in the lockers and in the backpacks and in the teachers' mailboxes that say if your kids want to sign up, and we will deliver to their doorstep 5 days a week throughout the entire summer. Because a lot of these children, their food supply is the cafeteria systems in our public schools. And when they're at home during the summer, they can't get somewhere to get it. I can't imagine it being, across town or a county over and little Doug being able to get there. I could not have gotten there. So Destiny volunteers 5 days a week drive that stuff to the same children's houses and develop relationships and develop mentoring. And then we provide a clothing aspect, a financial aspect. We've gotten people's utilities turned back on. You see a need when you walk up on the doorstep that you may not be able to change the whole world. I tell our organization this all the time. You may not be able to change the whole world, but you can change somebody's world, and you can start doing it today. So there's big dreams, big visions here of pop-up community centers where we can actually bring pods that are food supplies and distributions, like a soup kitchen type thing, a dentistry area where we can provide dental care, vision care, shot nurses where we can bring them immunizations and things like that. Different pods. Some of the pods are more upscale, where you would drop them off in another area of town and sell overpriced caffeinated beverages to support the other pods. So you could actually set up an entire pod community center in the morning and take that thing away in the afternoon. We want this to be in their community, in their town, in their, at their residence, on their doorpost. This is a mobile community center, so it's very different. Then we also take people to the Dream Center and Trinity Healthcare and Methodist hospitals and the people that we partner with. So this is not just about Destiny. What's incredibly going on in DeSoto County, Andrew, is it's an excellence that's going on down here. We're not just providing a resource. We're providing a resource with excellence and dignity. Mm-hmm. People who ride our healthcare shuttles, that's another aspect of Destiny Center. We provide healthcare shuttles that have hydraulic lifts for wheelchairs and people who can't get access to a regular vehicle. And we take them to their appointments. We take them to get their prescriptions. We take them to get their groceries. Some people, we pick up and take every week. So we know them and they're beginning to know us. One lady from over in Memphis, she got on the bus one day and she said, "Why do y'all do this? And why is your name Destiny Center?" She said, "Your name shouldn't be Destiny Center." And we said, "Oh, it shouldn't." She said, "No, your name should be Heaven Sent." And that's enough for us. And I could keep going. So Andrew, I'm going to let you talk, man.
Hey, no, I love it. I love these stories. And one time, it was about over a decade ago, I heard someone speak and they said, "We will be known by the problems we solve." And that's literally been my life motto since. And that's exactly what you're doing with the Destiny Center. You are problem solving through generosity and through just being there for people when they need those services most. Now, I know you could go on and on about this too, but share some of your, what puts a smile on your face when you look at the work that you're doing each day.
Oh my goodness. What puts a smile on my face is seeing a daughter loading her wheelchair-bound mother, knowing that there may be a lot of other tensions surrounding their family, but this is not one of them anymore. They don't have to worry about this. It puts a smile on my face when I see people who have gone through different programs become part of the volunteer database. And they went from being served to now they are serving. It's one of the most important things about our organization, both in the church and with Destiny, is that you lend that hand, but then they begin to lend their hand. So it's circular.
Now, how can people get involved and support your efforts?
They can contact us at 662-420-2949. They can visit us on Facebook. That is Destiny Center of DeSoto County.
And then talk about any volunteer efforts or how people can physically get involved with Destiny Center.
Right. If someone has any time that they want to be generous with, some people think that you have to give a certain amount of time. It's really based on what you're able to do and when you're able to do it. There is minimum service hours, but they can be spread out not just with Destiny Center, but with Dream Center, their churches, their local organizations. So they would contact us again through Facebook or that phone number and say, "I would like to be a part of what you guys are doing." We have orientations that are set up every few months, and there's usually about 10 to even 40 people in an orientation. And we'll tell them everything about the vision and the organization of Destiny Center, and then figure out where they fit in it.
And where do you see Destiny Center throughout 2021? What makes you excited about the year ahead?
The year ahead, we're going to go from just the bus. We already have a retrofitted bus that has a computer center in it for people to do resumes and get email addresses and things of that nature. It has a kitchen set up. It's fully off the grid. It has running water, electricity, Wi-Fi, everything inside of it. It also has a hair care salon with the chair and all the cutting equipment. I mean, we can drive that bus up on a place and provide a lot of services to a lot of people, anywhere they are. We also have the healthcare shuttle that I talked about earlier. But 2021 will be the addition of pods. And these pods will be corporately sponsored pods. About 98% of every dollar that comes into Destiny Center goes to the people, and it goes out into services or getting people to the services. I'm very excited about these pods because they're going to be twofold. Number one, well, actually threefold. Number one, they're going to be service providing stations that we can take and drop in a community and then pick up. Number two, they're going to be funding the efforts of the other pods by selling coffees and foods and cakes and things of that nature and services. And then three, it gives corporate sponsors the ability to put their name and their logo on these pods and therefore benefit them and ourselves. But we're very, very stingy with our sponsorships. An organization has to have the DNA, the values, and sort of a shared vision of serving the community. And we found that our very first corporate sponsor had all of those things, and that is Niagara Bottling Company. They started out with just several bottling manufacturing places in the country. Then they bought Nestle, and now they're international. They're around the world, and they chose Destiny Center. I remember I was sitting at a table eating dinner with one of their directors, and he just handed a check across the table, and I was like, "You don't even know us. You don't know what we do." He said, "No, we know you because it is who we are," and that's how you recognize that in people. It's a mutuality, and so we want to offer that to other organizations, but they really have to be service-minded, community-oriented, because it's not about the money. We want to make a bigger impact by joining the efforts of what other people are already doing, and not just being the Lone Ranger.
I love that. That's great. One more time, give listeners where they can go to learn more about Destiny Center and the phone number.
Absolutely. 662-420-2949, or you can visit us on Facebook at Destiny Center of Desoto County. Either way, you'll find that link on the Facebook site, and we're easy to find.
Great. Pastor Doug, thank you for joining us today and continuing to power the good in our community. We appreciate it.
Andrew, thank you.